Hey there, this is Tim Hart from VanDyk Mortgage. And if you're a loan officer out there looking for a new home, a new place to live, we're going to be talking today about why people come back to VanDyk Mortgage and also how we are a sales-oriented culture. So to do that, I have brought in my regional vice president, air quotes, it's not air quotes, but it's vice president, regional vice president of sales, John Jones. How you doing, buddy?
Awesome. Thank you for that new title, Tim Hart. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I went from regional manager to regional vice president of sales at VanDyk Mortgage.
So I would like to add in intercontinental too, intercontinental
coast to coast, intercontinental. Absolutely. I appreciate that.
All right. Hey, so I brought you on today because one, we're buddies, know each other for several years now. We've got a great relationship together, and I want you and I to kind of have a conversation about loan officers that are out there looking for a home. We're going to touch also on how loan officers have come back to us, right? They went off the reservation, they came back to us. So we're going to talk about that.
The grass isn't always greener ones. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it sometimes happens. But so John, what I want to talk about today is with VanDyk, because I'm right here in Fort Myers. You cover a lot of the Southeast, and you deal with a ton of different loan officers, ton of different personalities, all types of incomes, right? Person making 20 grand to, millions, right? So you have the whole
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's neat.
The whole spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about VanDyk's culture at sales. And so I kind of maybe just hand it off to you a little bit and maybe give, your outlook on what you see at VanDyk in regards to sales, because, I'm a sales guy and, we're here to close loans, and so are you. And so I'd be curious, let's get your opinion on the sales culture of VanDyk Mortgage before we get started.
Yeah, I mean, a great question. So, the thing about closing loans, right? We're in the business of closing loans, right? And I feel that at VanDyk Mortgage, we've got a phenomenal team of underwriters and closers. And our goal is to find a way to close a loan. So if there's an outlet for that loan or that source, we can make that happen.
Mm-hmm. And to add to you on this, by the way, if you're watching this, me and John are buddies, so we're going to be going back and forth a lot during the video. So just get ready for that. But to add to what you're saying, though, about we find a way to close a loan, we did a video with Lindsay Coonley, right, head of lending operations, and in it, this is the final say basically of VanDyk. She'll take any denied file and she reviews it. She's looking for ways to save that deal. Huge. I mean, that's your head underwriter.
100%. I mean, we talk in our industry, whether you're a rookie or a seasoned veteran, right? About, some lenders have overlays, in addition to what Fannie, Freddie, and the FHA guidelines are. And at VanDyk, we pride ourselves in not necessarily having overlays. So if there's, if we're not sure, if a file meets guidelines, we have the ability to reach directly out to those three sources. And, if we're good, we're going to close the loan and make it happen. But we're going to exhaust all sources before there's a no. We're going to make sure it's a no.
Yeah, and with you being a sales guy as well, like talk to loan officers out there about closing dates and how we look at the realtor loan officer partnership as well.
Yeah, so our primary bread and butter business at VanDyk Mortgage is the purchase market, right? We had a benefit in 20 and 21, like every lender, right? Low interest rates, opportunities to refinance. But for the past 35 years, right, we pride ourselves on serving our local real estate communities, and given the two things that realtors ultimately want, right? Great communication. Right, communicate, and then close and be able to close and deliver on time. Right, so that's our number one. I mean, me coming from sales, I've been doing this 25 plus years as an old school loan originator. All I cared about, just close my loan, right, on time. If I have a contract, it comes in, Tim, right? Just it's going to happen, and we've got a phenomenal team of support that we all thrive and know that that's the most important thing for us here at VanDyk Mortgage.
Yeah, and so two things to add to that point. One is when you talk to an agent, and you just said it's either 1A or 1B, but they all boil down to what's your biggest concern with loans, and literally you can sum it up in one sentence, and that is, I want my loan to close in a smooth and timely fashion, and for you to keep me updated the entire time.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
they want, man. They don't care about
So
your
for me,
rates.
from a sales guy, right, it sounds silly, right? There's all these shiny objects out there. You see it all over the internet, right? The latest, greatest thing, how to get referrals, right? And sometimes maybe it's bypassing agents. You and I are old school. We believe, and most of us at VanDyk believe, belly to belly, true relationship, partnership building, is our core. Back out, what we want to offer.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. And so the other thing with what I've realized in our culture of VanDyk is when you talk to ops, right? So there's sales and ops, and like there is no us versus them mentality
100%.
ever. It's the exact opposite. When you talk to ops people at VanDyk Mortgage, they literally a lot of times will say thank you. To us, the LOs, thank you for being on the front lines. Thank you for getting this business. Because ops, without us, man, they don't exist, right?
Correct.
We're out there getting the business. God bless
It's
them.
the old tail wagging the dog theory, right? I mean, we ultimately both need each other, right? For sure.
That's what that was the second part of this I was going to say is like if they suck, we suck because it's go along.
Yeah. And we've had, it's funny in our industry, right? We've had folks for many years, they've been on both. We're fortunate that they've done a variety of roles within the industry. And we have people in ops that tried sales. It wasn't their niche, but they do understand that the frontline people, the sales team, right? It's critical, right? The communication and the flow of the loan once we originate it, right? It has to be seamless.
Yeah.
It's their job to make us look like stars,
Yeah.
right?
And most of them know that if they tell us we can't close on time, you have to go get a contract extension. Like they know what that means to us. It's not just like willy-nilly, go get an extension, you'll be all right, go get an extension. Like they know what we have to go through to get that.
I
They
mean,
know we're gonna get our head shredded.
that is the culture. I mean, you know that. I mean, so
Yeah.
part of my role obviously is to bridge sales with ops, right? I mean, and it's a constant, right? We're communicating the importance, like our number one thing, right? For a realtor, it's communication. Ours is communication, and to ops is understand that we expect to close on time. So yeah.
And so, like, let's get into a little bit of the training things that VanDyk offers. But while we're also in the middle of this, one of the things that VanDyk offers is free coaching and mentoring. And so, like, not only like, let's use my model. I'm a branch manager. My LOs, they get me, right? Like, I'm there producing, I'm helping, I'm doing my thing, trying to help them out the best I can. I also get my man John Jones here, and so do they. Right. So my loan officers have access to you as well. And John, I got to tell you, give you props here that you've been a huge part of my business and our growth when you came aboard.
Well, dude, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no, and I mean that, man, sincerely. You're always there to help. We talk all the time. It's sometimes way too late than probably your wife wants, but we do talk a lot. But as an LO or branch manager, we need that support. We need the extra ears, the person that can kind of help you along the way. So that's one role you offer to loan officers. And
yeah. So I take great pride in that. And I mean, you and I both, we joke about it, right? So for you guys listening in here, we're both baseball coaches, right? Tim Hart does a great job in Southwest Florida running his branch, his team of LOs. You're a coach in baseball, but you're also a great mortgage coach, a mentor, and you're there to guide them through whether they're a rookie or a seasoned veteran. And I enjoy that. Like I like you, I enjoy coaching and helping and seeing the benefits of them putting in the efforts, right? When it's kind of like they're going to do some of the activities that we kind of guide them or lead them to, and then they're having huge success with some of those efforts. So, and to see their business flourish, I mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah, and again, you do a great job with that. But so, like, if a loan officer joins my branch, they can reach out to you as well. Hey, John, I'm thinking about this or that or whatever. Tim's in a closing or Tim's doing this. Like, what do you think? You're always available to them, right?
Yeah. I mean, so some of the things that we do, like one-on-one, I'm always available to help with them with any questions they have, or they just want to, role play some strategies, and how to improve their business, hone in on something. We have a weekly call that I lead on Friday, every Friday morning at 9:30 for 30 minutes. And we average about 40 or 50 of our sales team that joins that call. And we set that up, Tim, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. But, you know, routinely people don't miss the call, right? And it's really about, you know, the culture that we've created here with our team at VanDyk, and which is truly awesome. You guys all share, right? So I get to see the benefit of that, but you guys are all bringing massive value to this call on Friday, talking about strategies, wins, you know, what's working for you. You know, we touch on a few things that aren't working, like how do I overcome this? You know, so really, and for me to lead it, and then but you guys engaged in it and seeing that whole team community, you know, there's no island at VanDyk Mortgage. So the point being is, no matter where you're located, whether you're anywhere in the Southeast or anywhere across our country, even including Alaska, right? We've got a branch there. An LO or a loan originator, you can plug in, right, to this Friday call and become part of a culture, part of a family. And a guy like Tim Hart's calling a guy like Sean Miller in Alaska, and they're talking one-on-one after the call about, hey, this is what I think you should do. You know, I've tried this here in Fort Myers. This might really help you, you know, get to the next level in your business. I know that goes on because you guys, when I talk to you one-on-one, you know, Tim, you'll share like, hey, I heard from Stacy Van Skank, and, you know, we were kind of, you know, putting our thoughts together on doing some ads or different strategies. So from that point, you know, coming from when I originated, God, that was a long time ago, right? We didn't have Zoom. We didn't have those outlets, right? If you didn't have, if you didn't have, in some cases, a phone with a cord, right? You just didn't know, like, I didn't know who I know. You know, you didn't know, like, you'd come to the annual company meeting. It's like for the first time you're seeing people, like, and you're kind of like, man, that guy's awesome. But we have that here, like, you know, technology. So, you know, super cool culture that we've created here. And it's all because of you guys, long tenure.
Yeah, I mean, it is a culture of giving and sharing for sure. And so we have a few other things at VanDyk, like the iron. Tell them about iron sharpens iron.
Yeah. So all right. Lead into that. Once a month, we do a company-wide iron sharpens iron call, where we bring on somebody that's having success, you know, in a specific area, and they kind of share and highlight like how they've been successful and work through the steps that they, you know, to get, you know, to have that success. So just basically the same thing on, you know, more company-wide expanded version of our Friday call.
And we have our
guys like you know, you love, I can get you, I can rely on you to get on the call.
I'm always ready, bro. I'm always ready to jam. You know that.
You know, social media strategies with Mr. Tim Hart, you know, check him out on YouTube.
Just as long as it's not any weight loss.
Are you okay with that, by the way? I mean,
what's that?
I mean, everybody I talk to, right, I direct them back over to you, right? I'm like, oh, if I'm recruiting even, like, I'm like, hey, in fact, this week I was talking to a lady over on the East Coast and here in Florida, and I said, you've got to check out my man, Tim Hart, right, via YouTube. We're literally on the call, and she hooks you up. She's like, holy moly, he's got like 200 something videos.
I wonder if she's subscribed. I
told her right there. I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm not going to say the name privately. I'll say the name, and you can check it. She gets subscribed.
I see you out there. I see you.
Yeah.
So you have that. You have the VanDyk Mortgage newscast, which, by the way, don't let John know
today.
He goes by John. Wait, you got to let everyone know here. You're kind of famous. He's also known as Double J.
Double
J, John Jones on the sales calls. Go. So tell me.
I had to throw that in recently, Tim, because I get tired. My oldest son's named John. Like, just call me Double J, hon, like something, because both of us just don't know.
I love it, Double J.
Yeah. Newscast. So in addition, we have the newscast. So, you know, once a month now, we've got this. This is huge, right? I mean, we have, you know, if you've been in the business a while, you know that literally, like, if you've been 20 years, you think you know things, you don't know, right? Guidelines are continually changing week to week, month to month, right? We're adding programs, and just to throw this in real quick, you know, cool, awesome thing here at VanDyk. You know, other lenders also have this ability, but you know, we broker out loans. So if it, you know, traditionally we do the Fannie, Freddie, Ginnie Mae loans, right? Your traditional mortgages. But if we don't have that in-house, where we have the ability to outsource some loans that are a little bit more challenging. So great great ability if having those loans, it's huge.
Yeah, being a lender and a broker does give you
Yeah,
guys a lot of.
having outlets for any situation. But the newscast is where you're going to come once a month and get all those updates. The changes. Just so you're familiar with what we have, what we're changing. But yeah, it's great.
So I'm curious because I teased it in the beginning. We've had loan officers leave and then come back. You've had branch managers leave and come
Yeah.
back. So let's just go into just a couple reasons of why they came back. Let's just talk about that. If you can, you got a couple examples, excuse me, you can throw off.
Culture. I mean, and by culture, I mean communication, right? So, we're a smaller mid-sized lender. And again, the culture being that if you're producing here at VanDyk Mortgage, you're going to get one-on-one attention. You're going to get the ability to talk to the head underwriter, Lindsay Coonley, right? If you have a question on a file, and you don't always get that at other lenders, right? That little, it's huge in our business, right? If I can't pick up a phone and call you, Tim Hart, right? It's only by chat or email, and your answer is no, and I can't get a why. I'm not happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, we're in the business to close loans, and if my back office support staff isn't kind of gelling, right, I'm not super happy, and I'm going to go back to a company that I know is going to support me and my business on the sales side,
Mm-hmm.
And get loans closed on time.
Right. No, I hear you there. So I think that's pretty important because I always find it curious when, I've been doing it for a long time, man. People kind of come and go, and then over time, you get their feedback from me every time, and it's almost always like, I never should have left. Like it's kind of what it boils down to.
You and I talked about it before the call today. Like we've had a handful of top producers here over the last couple of years that have left and quickly come back. One of the knocks there is be careful if you are an originator thinking about or considering leaving your company. I tell you to look in the mirror first, right? I mean, honestly, we've had a tough year here at Q4 in 22. But really, your sales and your volume, a lot of times it's you, right? It's not necessarily your company. So before you're ready to leave where you're at, are you really putting forth the best effort, to be successful?
What a great thing to say, man. Especially we're putting this out there to loan officers that we hope come work for us, and like you're telling them, look, maybe it's you, man.
Literally, I try to keep look, my job too is to recruit, right? I try to keep it real, Tim. I'm not going to tell you that we've got better rates than you. It's nothing about that. You've got to first look in the mirror. Is it you, right? Because the same thing at VanDyk Mortgage, we don't want somebody to think that, hey, you know what? Maybe if I leave, my sales will suddenly double, right? It's just, I mean, the reality is, right, we're self-generating just like the real estate community, right? And it's the efforts that you as an individual and your team put forth, that's the fruit you bear.
Yeah, so there's I think it was Clint Black had a country song. It was wherever you go, there you are. You ain't leaving yourself.
You can't hide, I mean, and that's the reality, right? And sometimes, and the other thing to that is just don't chase the shiny object, right? You and I touched on it. The most important thing that realtors want is a lot like us: communication, close the loans on time. If you can communicate with the entire team throughout the process, right, on the back end, and they're closing your loans on time, you're probably at a pretty good place, right? If you're struggling in business, and you're not getting the support, I think that's huge in our industry, right? I talk to people all the time. They don't find any support, right? They don't have any sales leadership. So in our business, it's up and down, right? You're talking coming off 20 and 21, it was everybody was happy, right? You could be a brand new loan officer, everybody's phones were ringing, right? And they thought they were amazing. And here we are in 22 with a sharp downturn with the rates where they're at. And suddenly they don't have the support. They're on an island. They're working for a company that doesn't give them any coaching advice, leadership advice. They're down and nobody's there to pick them up. So if you're with a lender like that and you don't have that support, but you're happy with the lender, join a mortgage community group, and find a way, or say, find a coach, somebody that can pick you up.
Yeah. Well, John, I do appreciate the time. And if you've watched this and you made it this far, maybe you're interested in talking more. I'd be happy to talk with you if you are looking or interested in learning more about VanDyk Mortgage, my branch. Maybe you want to make a switch. Maybe
You're
you
an
don't.
amazing team, Mr. Hart. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I was going to tell you, that's the one thing we do. We are sales oriented here. My team, I want the LOs selling. I want you selling. I want you building relationships. I want you out there networking, making it rain. And that's what we're good at as LOs.
Yeah. So I'm going to can I give a plug for you and your branch down there? Yeah. I mean,
Sure,
you hit on all those things real quick, but yeah, if you're an originator and you're not just selling, you might be in the wrong place. Tim just mentioned that he's got a great team, great support team, great LOAs, right, that are there to support you. When you make the sale, you're going to hand that off over to an LOA, and they just get that loan closed for you. And Tim's going to push you, right, gently back out on the street, making those phone calls, right, and coaching you through your week. So if you're looking, I always say, like, you need an accountability partner at a gym. You need one in our industry too. Tim Hart does a great job with the weekly meetings that he runs. And he makes sure that you're staying on task and you're able to reach your goals, whatever they are.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So all that being said, call me. It's confidential. I'll give you my cell phone number. It's 239-910-5668. And also, if you want to learn more about VanDyk Mortgage, I've got a lot of other videos. The one with the president, John Barnes, lending operations, we mentioned her, Lindsay Coonley. I got one with my processor, transaction coordinator, Talia and Donna. One with my lead management, Kelly Sweeney. We got a lot of different videos there for you to learn about my branch and VanDyk Mortgage. Awesome. I hope you watch and I hope you call. John, any parting words?
No, man. Hey, you did a great job. Enjoyed it.
You're the man, dude. You're the Double J.
Third base coach of the year. There you go.
Yeah, wearing cleats. I got to wear a helmet too this year, so that sucks.
See you.
See you, buddy.